Hello everyone, my name is Clay, and welcome to a new Let's Play. It's a special one. It's going to be one episode, probably about an hour long, as that's how long this demo is supposed to take, and as you can see from the title screen, I'm going to be playing Call of Saregnar. This is a retro throwback PC RPG, being developed by one gentleman by the name of Damjin. And he sent me the demo specifically so I could record it and play through it. I've been looking forward to this game for probably about a year now. And a lot of it is because it reminds me very much of a game I played from my childhood called Betrayal at Krondor. So, let's go ahead and get into this. There's not lots in the options, so...
It was a late night in the small town of Romar. Hewen, an auspicious student of magic,
Voice
and
acting.
Sam, his roguish friend, decided to liven up the dullness of the road by spending the night drinking and gambling at the Yew Tree Inn. After observing the two playing and winning a number of games against the locals, a gambler approached their table and challenged them to a game of takla. It was then that fortune seemed to abandon them, as the two friends lost most of their money and many valuables playing against the man. Sam was no stranger at cards, and while he had no proof, deep inside he knew his opponent must have been cheating. At that point, the young rogue confronted the gambler, and in the struggle that ensued, an accusing card fell from the man's shirt. Realizing that he couldn't bluff his way out of the situation, the gambler felled Sam to the ground, grabbed the pouch of winnings, and dashed towards the exit. In the chaos, Huan tried to stop the retreating gambler, but only managed to trip on his friend and abruptly join him on the floor. Meanwhile, startled by the shouts in the common room, Dina, the owner of the tavern, dashed in and found the two youngsters lying atop one another, being the object of merriment of a drunken, cackling audience.
Okay, well I did not expect voice acting. Alright. But we don't have voice acting yet for the characters. Now, as you can see, this is clearly a human being, but been digitized, and that is from Betrayal at Krondor style, so... Dina here, what in Ulmaris's name happened here, and where's that bloody gambler? He's yet to pay for the lodging and food. Okay, well here's Hewen. Gone, we caught him cheating at cards and he ran away, we tried. Gone, and why didn't you two go after him? Why didn't anyone go after him? The room fell silent as Dina's icy gaze traveled face to face across the room. Propping himself upright, Sam assessed the condition of his bleeding nose by carefully bending it first one way, then the other. Satisfied that it wasn't broken, he looked up at Dina, who stared at him with a mix of disbelief and rage. That is the face of rage. I was gone for 1 minute, Sam. And this dude looks like a pirate. I know, but he had a third blue lady card hidden within his shirt. I knew he couldn't have been that good of a player. Not even the gambler of Baramus could have. Enough, Sam. He's gone because of you, and I don't want to hear any excuses. You'll be paying for both, him and yourself. The man took the coin, Sam. Dina, he what? I'm sorry, Dina, what can I say? He must have taken our money after he bashed my nose in. I see. Then you either find your money and pay up, or you'll be playing here to cover the expenses every night for a week starting tomorrow. A week? Come on, be reasonable, Dina. I can't be stuck in this hole of a town for a whole week. And where are we going to sleep? Do we at least get a room to stay in? No, you don't. And since you can't afford staying, I suggest you start looking for the man now. I'm closing for the night. Oh my god. Dina, sweetie, you can't be serious. It's the middle of the night. We'll never find him out there in the dark. Ah, you're right. Here, take these torches. You'll pay for them once you catch the gambler and get your money back. Good night. But Dina... Oh man, that's hardcore. She ain't messing around. She's like, bitch, go get my money. And now we are in control, and oh my god. Oh! Should have known I was being cheated. Never lost that much money in one night, or ever. Neither did I, Sam. We should have listened to Arthur while we had the chance. 'Twas your royal cousin's fault for buying us drinks in the first place, you know. You're drunk. As I recall, he wanted us all to go to his cellar. You know, the one with the wine and dried meats. Well, now all we have are these bland road rations, which I have no desire to eat ever again. Yes, I get the point. Look, there's nothing we can do now but track down that man and recover my money. Our money. Then we visit your cousin at that fancy manor home of his, you check out his book on magic tricks, and then we finally leave this accursed place. Deal? Damn it, Sam! That book is what got me traveling all the way up here in the first place. If it is truly an ancient book on magic like Arthur claims, it's like finding a damn treasure. I'd lose 10 times the money I lost tonight just for a chance to peek at its pages. Calm down, your magicianship. You'll get your chance, but first things first, where do we start our search? That son of a whore could be anywhere by now. I don't know. We best wait until morning. No point us knocking on people's houses in the middle of the night. They're all asleep at this hour anyway. Come morning, we can ask around. Maybe somebody saw or heard something, maybe point us in the right direction. If not, there may be clues laying about. Who knows? Well, if I wait till morning, there's not going to be clues, you dingus. Oh, wow. Okay, so, do I have an options menu? I do. UI scale. Let's turn that down a bit, because holy crap. Hold shift to release the mouse pointer. Escape opens this window. Tab opens the character screen. R is rest. C is spellcasting. Okay. What spells do I have? Oh my god, this is... So this is also just like Betrayal at Krondor. Spells were set up in a window very similar with like a magic symbol. You would pick the spell, and there would usually be an indicator along the edge. Let me see. Yep. This is... Yeah, he is definitely taking his cues from Betrayal at Krondor, because you would basically do this, and you would select the variable cost to get the effect. What's Aknosh, Lord of the Day? Okay, so I literally start with a heal. And a see in the dark. Alright, that's better. That's much smoother. That mouse speed was way too high. Oh my god, this brings back memories. And I love it. Even the houses with this kind of design here, that looks straight out of that game. Oh, wonder what this is. I can't go in. So I guess I'm supposed to rest, because that's what the game wants me to do. Is there a map? There's no map. So we rest till morning. Yep. There we go. Okay. How do I knock on doors? How do I access doors? Left click, probably? Probably. Here we go. Small sign was affixed to the door. Sorry, closed for illness. Will open again soon. Fannin. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. Let's leave. Alright. Now if I... Oh. They knocked and waited. Out of the little house came a heavy-set man, his receding hair betraying his age. He leaned against the door frame and looked at them impatiently. Yes, what do you want? It was Hewen who spoke. Excuse us, but we're looking for a man who stayed at the inn last night, a gambler. Don't know his name, but he did leave in a hurry not too long ago. The man was about to speak when his look was diverted past Hewen's shoulder and towards Sam, who was, incredibly enough, expertly juggling a pair of knives. Not taking his eyes away from the skilled display, the man said, yes, in fact, I did see someone, though I haven't seen his face. I just got up to take a piss when someone ran right past me like his boots were on fire. Hewen brightened. Did you see where he ran to? South out of town, I guess, the man answered absently, then called out to Sam, hey, nice trick, where'd you learn that? Snapping out of whatever trance Sam was in, the young rogue put away the blades and looked at the man as if not understanding the question. He then walked closer to Hewen and whispered in his ear, what was he talking about, Hugh? Juggling? Throwing Hewen a question look, he said, juggling? What juggling? Hewen raised his eyebrows and said, the thing with all your knives floating through the air and all that. Oh, was all he said, looking down at the knives at his belt. Then a worried expression clouded his face. Hey, I think it's happening again. I'm losing it. Hewen placed a hand on Sam's shoulder and sighed. You lost it a long time ago, Sam. Seeing his longtime friend was not amused, Hewen said, you'll be fine, you just need a good night's rest, that's all. The pair excused the now baffled man, thanked him for the information, and left. Okay, so out of town south, which is that way. But we're not done checking town. Let's hit tab. Okay, so Hewen's got a simple staff, damage plus 4 strength. There's strength, there's speed. But what's skill? Skill, I guess, would be the melee, which is 39%. Got some traveler's rations. Yeah, this is... Oh yeah, here's Sam. Sam's wielding himself a falchion. 9 and 6. His melee's much better. He's 3% drunk, though. We got keys, we got gems, we got food. He's got some throwing knives with condition. This is all... Yeah, this is bringing back the memories. The music is fantastic. Let's talk to this old lady. Old lady trotted towards them, carefully supporting herself with a wobbly wooden cane. She carried a small shallowed basket with freshly picked flowers in it. May the gods spare you the hurdles of old age, boys. Hewin smiled and helped the lady sit on the bench. Thank you, dear, she said, and her eyes locked on his for a while. Hewin smiled uncomfortably. You know, you do remind me of someone. Are you from around here? My mother was born here, he said, pointing up at the manor house. The woman looked puzzled for a moment, and then she brightened. But of course, you must be Hewin, Lady Renitti's son. Renittas? Renittas. So, these names. Yes, that's correct, he said, curiosity taking over. Do you know my mother? If I knew her? Of course I do. I'm Marith. I worked in the Lord's kitchen for nearly 40 years. Me and your mother used to be quite close, you know. Hewin nodded. Is she and your father in good health? Marith asked, genuine concern in her voice. Yeah, they're doing well. Thanks for asking. I'm glad to hear that, she said, relieved. Then, after a moment of silence, her expression clouded over, and she sighed. I was just picking some flowers for my dear George. Today he'd be 57 years since we got married. She said, her eyes lost in memory. Sadly, last winter the herder took him away. I'm sorry, was all Hewin could say. There was another moment of silence, but her features brightened up again as she looked at the boys. Are you youngsters by any chance going down to the temple? We might stop there, Hewin said. We'll soon be heading to Avonmore anyway. Oh, that's wonderful! Would you by any chance mind doing me a little favor? Of course. I hate to be a burden, but could you take these flowers to my husband's grave since you're traveling that way? It's not too much trouble, of course. We'll be happy to, Marith. Her face lit up, revealing the look of a much younger Marith, who Hewin judged must have been a beauty in her youth. Thank you so much, Hewin. Wait a moment, will you? She said. Then, with difficulty, she rose and added, let me get you something for the trouble. Hewin started. There's no need, but Marith had already crossed the threshold and entered her home. She emerged in a few moments carrying 2 small packs for the road, one for each, and she punched a pouch of herbs into Hewin's hand. Just a bit of honey bread and nuts for the road, and some herbs for tea while camping out in the night chill. She gave the parcels to the boys. Oh, you needn't have. It's no trouble at all, Hewin said, but Marith dismissed him with a wave. You two be careful traveling the roads. All manner of lawful... Oh, low folk. Ah, okay, that O is a little hard to tell from an A. All manner of low folk preys on travelers these days. They promised Marith for the supplies. Oh, they thanked Marith for the supplies and promised that they'd be careful and they'd bring the flowers to her husband's grave on their way south. Again, thank you, and may Ternan watch over you. Okay. There's some tongue twisters in here. Alright, let's look. That must be the manor house. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is... Let me see if I can figure out maps. He said shift brings up this. This must be the map. There's no map screen, there's no that. So I have camping and spellcasting. Yeah, I don't have a map screen yet. Guess that's not implemented. I'm all in on these visuals. This basically is Betrayal at Krondor, only modernized. Like, these visuals are straight out of that game, only much higher resolution, much better looking. I'm very pleased about this. Let's talk to this guy. As soon as Hewin knocked, the heavy door swung open. A man in his late 50s emerged from the house, his face radiating impatience. Hans! Alright, well, it's about time. I was beginning to worry that you had lost your way. Sir Halligan is expecting results, and from what I've gathered, you still need to learn which side of the sword does the stabbing. And where's the rest of your group? Excuse us, but you must have us confused with somebody else. We're just travelers, and we're hoping you could spare a moment to talk. Oh, that's a shame. I really thought you came for sparring lessons. Well, in that case, what do you want to know? Oh, I can ask about lessons. You mentioned sparring lessons. We might be interested to freshen our skills some. As long as the other group I'm expecting does not show up, I can find some time for you. However, my services do not come cheap, you must understand. For, let's say, 8 Ashen, I can teach your friend there how to handle the sword better. I can even show you a few tricks with that staff. What do you say? As intriguing as your offer sounds, how about you tell us who you are and why we should spend that much coin on training with you? Fair enough. My name is Hans Sandler, although most call me Master Sander. as I am known to be a master in my art. I was once a captain in Lord Arian's army, but now I spend my time tutoring those who want to learn the fine art of swordsmanship. That's remarkable. As I understand, Lord Arian is the Duke of Quam. I hear the area is anything but peaceful up there, as you would come to expect any border settlement. But more than that, in the last years of my captainship, things were only going for the worst, and I wasn't getting any younger. So I asked for an early retirement, but in exchange I agreed to train the king's men when I was asked to. Sounds like you made a fair deal. Works for me. I keep myself in shape and my old bones away from Quam's Keep's drafty walls. Also, I get to spar with many a lord's son, and sometimes even Prince Nicholas himself invites me for a match. So, you interested? I ain't got no money. Sorry, but we need to pass on the offer. Maybe another time. As you wish, you know where to find me. We'll be on our way. Okay, well, we know where a trainer is. Obviously, there's no jump key. I tried to hit space for jumping. There is no jumping. Them birds are way too happy. They needed to calm their shit. Probably just, let's see. An elderly man opened the door. I'm sorry, I have something urgent to attend to, but let me give you a little advice. He said, avoid my neighbor. She's crazy. Having said that, the man bid them goodbye. Oh, God. Oh, hey, look, here's the flowers I need to put on the gravestone. This must be his neighbor. The air tingled. Hewan halted as he approached the little moss-covered house. I'm not sure we should be here. There's magic about this place, but I don't like how alien it feels. Sam wasn't about to argue, but by the time the door cracked open, he was already a dozen feet away. Don't leave, spoke a frail voice from within. It's a rare opportunity to meet a fellow Osmani these days. She paused, and Hewan felt that tingling sensation again. She continued, even if the old ways seem a little lost on you, doesn't matter, will you come inside? Hewan was intrigued but didn't move. Of what old ways are you speaking of, he finally asked. Come, let us talk inside, the woman insisted, gesturing them to enter. She's a witch! She opened the door just wide enough to let the boy slip in, and then hurriedly closed it and secured it with a latch. Too many nosy people out there, you see, all wanting to know too much for their own good. It took a few moments for their eyes to adjust to the dim light of the house, so when the darkness subsided, they found themselves standing in a room stuffed with trinkets of all kinds. Weirdly shaped sticks and bones, stones of different colors and patterns, clay pots and hanging herbs. A number of rushlights did little to illuminate the gloomy room. It was Hewan who spoke first. You mentioned the Osmani. I don't think I'm familiar with that term, he said. The woman added some twigs to the almost dying fire and poked at the embers until a small flame burst into life. Don't they teach Arani in Antarra anymore? She asked. Hewan replied, they do, and wondered if the strange woman had the power to read minds. He knew the talent existed, but only a few mages had it, which made the woman an object of fascination in Hewan's eyes. Doesn't matter. Osmani is the old word for those who practice magic. Did you study at the university too? Hewan ventured, but the woman snorted, shaking her head in reply. I wasn't born in nobility like you were. You seem to know a lot about me. You've been mind-reading! This time, the woman laughed a rich laugh, to which the tiny flame in the fire pit whooshed to life. No, although I admit that would be a nice gift to possess. I merely know who you are, Hewan Teomar, son of Rinada. And you, she turned to Sam. She started reaching for his chin, but suddenly retracted her head as if she got burned. You need to go, both of you, she said, her words devoid of any worth. She hurriedly unlatched the door, but gave Sam a wide berth on her way there. Out with you, she cried, and the boys flew outside the door, closing with a thud behind them. So, there's definitely some mystery here. While we're on the hunt for a gambler who stole our shit, apparently Sam has got some problems. Hewan knocked and waited. When it was obvious no one was going to open the door, Hewan said, let's not waste any more time here, let's leave. So, that's good. Oh, is that my money? I think this is my cash. Pouch was light. 1 Ashen, 3 Leshen. Okay, so 1 silver, 3 copper. Let's open this. The air smelled of freshly baked pastry. Donuts. Hewan's knocking was answered by a shushing voice within, and he threw a questioning look at Sam. A few seconds later, a rather attractive red-haired lady in her 40s opened the door. Welcome, I haven't seen you around here before. Care to try one of my tarts? I am Nissa. Been baking all morning. Well, began Hewan, but he was quickly cut off when Nissa shoved a buttered pastry into his mouth. So, delicious, isn't it? She asked, then started pulling at Hewan's sleeve, dragging him inside. Come on, don't be shy. Come in, I don't bite. The door closed right into Sam's bewildered face. Time passed, and just as Sam was starting to worry for his friend, the door swooshed open. A blushing Hewan walked out, followed by a rather cheerful Nissa who stopped at the doorstep. See you again soon, Hewan. I have more if you ever stop by again, she said, then winked at Sam and closed the door. Sam's mask of words slowly faded and turned into a big grin. So, he began. Oh, drop it, Sam. Let's just go. That seems to be pretty much everybody in town, so we can't go in the shop. We know we're not welcome back in the bar. South we go. Traveling through these beautiful hills as we explore. Oh, hey, look, another house. Knock, knock. The house seemed abandoned. Should we have a look? Maybe the previous owners left something of value inside. Absolutely. Let's loot. Save for a broken chair and some pieces of pottery scattered on the floor, the house was remarkably empty. Boo. This place was looted clean, said Hewan, kicking out the debris. Sam, however, was kneeling and examining a section of the floor with interest. He slid his fingers along the edge of a wooden board, and as expected, the board gave way. Aha! He claimed triumphantly. Lifting the piece of timber, he discovered a small, jingly pouch hidden within. We're gonna get some cash money. Do I just drag it? Or do I double click? How do I loot this? How do I loot? That's not working. Ah, I put it on top of the people. Okay. There we go. Got some copper coinage. Fat loots, everybody. Fat loots. Ooh, look at the waterfall. Oh, man. If you notice, the closer I get, it's got that kind of like directional distance-based sound. See, listen. It's very soft. Now it's nice. We go backwards. We go forwards. We go backwards. We go forwards. And now we cha-cha. Can I get in the river? No, I cannot get in the river. Okay. Full mouse control, by the way, and WASD movement is really nice in this sort of game. Betrayal of Krondor did not have that. It went like... You would just go boop, 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 and it was like boop, 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 like that. Very unsmooth. Then again, Betrayal at Krondor was made in like the early 90s. And for those unaware, Betrayal at Krondor was one of the first open world RPGs, even predating by about a year the Elder Scrolls. Unfortunately, the Elder Scrolls overshined it, because the Elder Scrolls was honestly slightly better made. But for those of us who've played Betrayal at Krondor, it still holds a very fond memory. And this is looking like the spiritual successor we never really got, so I am all in. I wonder if I could have used that item over there. Just looking around to make sure I don't miss nothing. Clickies and whatnot. Like, this looks suspicious, this rock wall. Suspicious rocks. Let's see... Now, if I was a jackass thief who stole shit from some people, where would I be hiding? Probably not in this dude's field, but let's go check out this dude's field. Clearly not in the dude's field. How about the poop pile? You can tell it's poop because of the flies. They knocked and waited. After several minutes passed, Sam leaned to the doorframe to listen if anything was stirring within the house. I can't hear anyone within. Let's just go. Suspicious. The ambient sound is just really well done. Okay, so there's clearly the church / temple. You can see it from here, right there. But we're not going to go there just yet. I have a feeling that he's hiding out in there, and that's probably where we're going to get our first taste of combat. Because I imagine this demo's going to have combat, even though this game is clearly a RPG. Let's talk to this house. They were invited into the small house. After explaining they were travelers on their way to Avonmore, that's not quite correct. Ranimid, the head of the farmer family, offered them a place to sit next to the fire pit. We're just about to have breakfast, said his wife, then added, Terd Nan has been generous this year, so food is plentiful. We'll be happy to share. Huon welcomed the warm food he had been given, and Sam readily emptied his plate. It would be nice to hear news from the outside, Renamid said between one mouthful and the next. You used to have visitors now and then, but these days they rarely stop to have a chat. Everyone seems to be in such a hurry. Ain't that always the way? Hewan spent a good part of the hour recounting what he knew. Whenever the story got too dull to Sam's liking, the light-haired rogue promptly added all sorts of embellishments to the tale. He even sung one of his songs, which amused Sarah, Renamid's wife, to no end. When they were done, Sarah addressed Sam. Now that was quite a tale. Next time you visit Romar, I'd love to hear you sing another one. Sam accepted the compliment with a broad smile, and together with Hewan they rose and thanked them for the hospitality. As they walked towards the door, Ranamir said, "Good luck on your travels, boys. If you haven't been to our temple, you really should do so. Perhaps talk to the priestess while you're there." "Perhaps we will. Thank you," Hewan replied, closing the door behind him. Should we? Let's go look this way. Then again, I might be jumping ahead here. Oh, look at this. You can see, well, no, I couldn't because that rock's in the way. Let's see. Look, I found hidden forest path. I'm just going to walk through. Oh, no, the trees have collision in this. Smart. That was the thing in Betrayal. You just kind of walk through trees. They didn't really do collision then. God, I love how this looks. The rain is nice. This just looks really good. Alright, let's go visit the temple. See what happens when I drop off the... Well, look at the storm. This is really well done. I am very impressed. This is basically being made by one guy who's the programmer and writer, one guy who's the composer, who's done excellent work on the music already, and the third gentleman who I want to say is like art and like some of the design aspects. Okay, well, we're in the... Hello. Gotta find a gravestone, I suppose. Where's the graves? Oh, here we are. This one? This is a really old grave. Nope. Yemeni stones. That's a really old grave. Okay, so it's none of those. It's gotta be over here, then? Nope, no there. Which grave is it supposed to go on, game? Don't you start with me. Don't you start with me causing me trouble. Unless there's more stuff out. Ah, okay. Grave was old. If there was ever a name called on the Yemai, it was washed away by decades. Only a sunlit symbol was visible on the headstone, most likely due to the depth it was chiseled in. Okay. Really old Yemeni stone. Ah, this was a fresh bouquet of flowers rested on the finely chiseled middle slab. Looks like a fairly expensive Yemai, Hewan noted. Someone wanted to be extra sure that their beloved one stays within the boundaries of the stones, said Sam, or finds the way back. Either way, this is fine craftsmanship. Yes, that's a really nice grave. That's old. Nothing particular. We gotta find that dude. No. This one? Here we go. Hewan knelt at the headstone, inspecting the inscription carved next to the strange double moon symbol. George of Romar. This must be the grave, Hewan said, placing the flowers on the stone. He then chanted a short prayer to Alden Howl, so George may be at peace up in the snowy halls of the herder god, but also find his way back to his wife on Smirtnivis, the festival of ancestors, when the time comes. I'm proud of you, Hugh. Always going that extra mile to help others, Sam said, looking Hewan in the eyes. Hewan wasn't sure if he was mocking him or not, but decided he wasn't. Thank you, Sam. Are you sure you're feeling alright? Uh-huh. Let's go. Okay, well, that was easy. We did our duty. Now it's nighttime again. This does have day-night cycles, if you didn't tell. Oh. And now we get one of these. So this is basically how Betrayal worked. And I know I keep bringing Betrayal up, but this is, again, directly inspired by Betrayal at Krondor. So you can click and choose Talk. Almost identical. You can click to activate, and you can click to activate. So let's talk. The scent was familiar. While it eluded him at first, it took a long moment for Hewan to realize that what he smelled was an herb he handled last at the University of Magic in Antarra. Due to its innumerable curative and mystical properties, the relatively rare Oramus was sought by both healers and practitioners of magic, and therefore it has often commanded high prices on the market. Hewan remembered how in his first year of study, Mage Farron lashed out at him for using the whole plant in an experiment. Snapping out of his reverie, Hewin realized he must have been staring at the young woman the whole time. Thankfully, if he was to judge from her expression, she wasn't much annoyed as she was amused. It's Hewin. I kind of like this guy, by the way. He seems pretty chill. Please excuse me, I didn't mean to stare, but the bundle of Oramus you're carrying brought back memories. Are you by chance willing to sell some? I could surely make good use of it in our travels. Linny, I'm sorry, but I swore an oath to see it delivered to the priest of Holia. But why the interest, if I may ask? A herbalist, perhaps? Can't say I often run into those who have heard of, let alone know, the herb. No, I'm not an herbalist, but I studied about them in Antarra, so I can make use of most if need be. Besides, the unique property of herbs always fascinated me, so I'm trying to learn about them whenever I can. I see, it's good to meet someone with a keen eye for herbs. If you're in need to purchase some, though, you're welcome to my shop, Nature's Gifts, in Ergenden. My name is Linny. I'll be sure to give you a fair price if you visit. Thank you for the offer, Linny. If the road ever takes us to Ergenden, we'll be sure to stop by. Oh, and I'm Hewin. It's been a real pleasure meeting you. The pleasure was all mine. I can say, Holia. I thought the temple of our luck goddess was far off in Ingaroth. Are you planning to travel there all by yourself? Surely a courier could safely deliver those herbs in your stead. You'd like to think that, wouldn't ya? You'd think that would have been the soundest choice, but it's been weeks since I last saw a courier carriage pass through Aragon. It's like our little village has suddenly gone off the map. Meanwhile, I pray to the god of travelers for good fortune. I was assured the courier still passes through there, so it shouldn't be long before I return to my shop. Goodbye, Linny. Who's this fruit? He was lost in thought. After exchanging a few words with the man, he learned his name was Nomau, and that he was a farmer from the outskirts of Romar. He told him that his wife disappeared 2 weeks ago after going to fetch some water from the river. He's been praying to Ter Nan since, so she may safely return home again. No one's found any trace of her, he told Hugh, and the whole village joined the search. Even Lord Longcoat's dogs couldn't catch her scent. She simply vanished, the man said, bursting into tears. Hewin stayed for a while longer, consoling the man as best he knew, then excused himself and returned to Sam. His wife vanished, no trace of her anywhere. Maybe she just left him? No, I don't believe that's the case. The whole thing feels wrong. Sam shrugged. A servant beckoned them to sit. The High Priestess is currently in prayer, so if you would be so kind to wait, I will let her know of your presence. Time dragged by, especially for Sam, who was now nervously pacing up and down the hall, stopping at the door several times, listening for whatever was happening beyond that boundary into the holy realm that only priests had access to. This is maddening, he said, while descending the few steps into the ascent. But as soon as he touched the last step, the large door opened and a tall woman wearing priestly garments stepped through. To those present, she bowed her head, then smiled at Sam. I'm sorry if the wait has caused you any grief. Our god has been restless recently and relies much on our priestly chants. Hewin stood up and Sam tried to say something, but words eluded him, so he cast his gaze downward in silence. It was Hewin who addressed the holy woman. We apologize, High Priestess. There is no dire need behind our visit. We simply wanted to talk. We can talk, she replied, her eyes lined with weariness, but let's be quick as I have other matters to attend to. During the session with the Priestess of Ter Nan, they touched many topics about the god himself, but they also discussed the recent events that have befallen them, including the matter with the gambler. The balance of power is being tipped over. Like I said before, our god is troubled and we have received note of similar disruptions from other temples as well, said the priest gravely. You should be wary on your travels, particularly you, Hewin, for I feel you are embarking on a journey much longer than you planned for. The priestess seemed to contemplate something and spoke to Sam. Within you I can feel a similar disturbance, much alike to the one that has affected our temple home, but it's still early to guess the nature of it. Time will tell. Lastly, she took their hands and said, look out for each other, for I see danger on your way. She then excused herself and bid them farewell. Sam, I really don't like that woman, Hugh. Felt like she looked right through me, got goosebumps all over. It's the stash, man. She's judging that stash. See, he has a much better stash. She was judging your stash, Sam. Yeah, I felt it too, but she is a high priestess after all. Those close to the gods often possess special talents. Yeah, talents to make one shit his pants. Let's go. I don't want to stay here one moment longer. He's scared of the priestess. She's gonna make him shit his pants. Alright, so we need to kill. I guess we just need to keep heading south. Looking for and hunting for the gambler. It would help if I'm on the correct side of the river. Alright. Let's see where we can go. Man, look at how it looks like at night while raining. Kinda spooky. There will be spooks, I'm sure. Yeah, so far there's been a lot of story, and the story is actually interesting. There's been some really good world building. Like, nothing is really, like, thrown in my face, but I can infer quite a bit based on how the dialogue and the text has been written so far about who and what and where. Okay, I'm gonna camp till morning. I've only got 4 rations left. That's bad. Aha! Now I can see this house. Okay. I felt there was something over here, but I couldn't see in the dark, which is good, because I shouldn't be able to see in the dark. Probably could have cast a spell, but I didn't want to. Let's, knock? Uh-oh. Door was ajar. Signaling for silence, Hugh crept towards the house and carefully peeked through the gap. The inside was dark and quiet, with pieces of furniture scattered about, nothing of any real value in sight. No one seemed to have been living there for some time. Still, careful not to divulge their presence to whoever might be listening, he slowly pushed the door inward. But the old door protested with a loud groan. There goes our silent approach, shall we? Hewen offered, opening the door fully, but as soon as he took a step in, a deathly stench invaded his nostrils, and he fought the urge to throw up. Oh God. Lying in the corner, face down in the ashes of the fire pit, was a man, his clothes bloody and soiled. His back pierced by an iron rod, probably a fire iron, and 2 of the man's fingers have been cut off and cast into the pit. Is that our man? Sam asked, the inside of his elbow covering his mouth and nose. I think so, said Hewen. At that point, Sam pushed past him and took a closer look at the body. It is him, he said, but there's no money on the body whatsoever. Whoever did this picked him clean. Uh-oh. Suddenly, the sound of a sword leaving its scabbard came from outside, and a rough male voice announced, "You two, drop your weapons on the ground and walk out, slowly." Hewen turned towards the door, taking a step back, and Sam straightened, instinctively going for his weapons. As if making a point, the second sound followed, a crossbow being drawn and locking. "Let's not make them wait, Hugh," Sam said as he concealed a throwing knife in his sleeve. "Got any fine spell to distract the bolt-firing horseman?" "I do," Hewen replied, a lump forming in his throat, "but I've never used it to do harm before. It is forbidden," he added gravely, then closed his eyes in concentration. Is it a blind? It's a blind, isn't it? Okay, so first up is Sam. Now, in Betrayal of Krondor, it was a grid, a square grid, but I prefer hexes generally, so this is good. I can get up here and attack, I can get here and attack. I've got ranged attack, defend, rest, and this would be spell casting. Obviously, I just click to attack. I can't get to him yet, but I totally can get to him, so... Alright, so let's see what magic this dude's got. He's got... just the 2 spells, right? Yeah. Ah, Fire Embrace. Ooh, okay, so now I can see combat spells. This is the heal. But now, instead of the light spell, I've got... causes the air around the enemy to vibrate so fast it heats up to the point it burns. Hell yeah! That's 29 endurance. I've got 45 endurance. Let's use 15 endurance. Set your ass on fire! Oh, that was 30 points of damage. Oh, only 1. Stab him! Good. Get rid of that guy. As you saw, there was no difficulty slider either. We've got 30 endurance. Let's hit him with another 15. Burn that bitch where he stands. And there we go. Sam stood in silence, just moments before the enemy was trying to kill him, and now that same enemy lay at his feet. He imagined the man to raise and grab at him or cry out another, "Come on!" But silence pervaded the battlefield. Today he won the fight. Ooh, we even got the little after combat notes. Do I see their corpses? I totally see their corpses. Yep, there it is. Let's loot. Give 2 to him and 2 to him. We're totally taking the crossbow. I don't know if there's vendors, but I'm gonna find out. Ooh! Heck yeah! We'll give all 3 to you. We'll take that cash money. We'll take that sword. And we'll take that armor. Alright, so... Hewen stared at the body. "Sam, I think we should bury him," he said. There was a look of near pity on his face. "Just leave it to the beast," said Sam, shaking his head. "It won't be long until someone catches the scent and drags him away." Well, we don't have our money. Well, no, we got some money. I've got 2 whole silver. and 8 copper. I don't imagine that's enough to pay our good lady friend. Let's go see what she has to say, because that was exciting and fun and violent. Alright. So that was combat. Now, one thing that I feel is missing from there is the 2 hit chances. So, generally, and I'm going to pull up my character sheet, as you can see, you have this 39% melee, no range, 65% magic. Hewin obviously uses his endurance for spellcasting, so the problem here... Oh wow, I have way too much. I need to... Let's see... Give, like, 5. Because that leaves me 9 and him 11. Give him 1 and that should be perfectly even. There we go. So that's also missing, but... There's no percentage, or there wasn't one visible during combat that tells me what my percent chance to hit is. I would like a little status window to show me this attack has a 30% chance against this enemy, or 45% against this enemy. So consider putting that in later. Because that would be helpful. Helpful to tell me just how high or low a chance of stabbing or burning that I've got. I did like the spell effect, and it's nice that I have a combat spell. In Betrayal at Krondor, you're starting mage. The only spell they have in combat, and their name's Owen, is a blind. And it's nice, you can blind the enemy, making them basically lose their action, but you're still relying on everybody else to do the actual damage. And they don't have really much else they can do, so it's nice that the party wizard in this game already starts with a burn, a direct damage spell, and a heal. That is a really nice mix. I'm really happy about that. I am curious as to what other spells I'll get access to. So that's going to be interesting. It looks like there's a lot. Like, if you look at the spell list, there is a lot of clearly different, like, gods, or... Yeah, see, these are gods. Ternan, Holia. So I'm really curious as to what spells Damjin has planned. Oh, let's Bard. He struggled, despite Sam's best efforts to translate the song that sounded so right in his head into the delicate instrument. He knew he did rather poorly. You're lucky the patrons are in high spirits and demand I pay you, the innkeeper grimaced as he produced 2 silver and 3 copper and passed it to Sam. Oh, I have 2 gold, 3 silver, 1 copper. Oh man, that's good. Let's talk to this dude. Soldier was drunk. You wouldn't have a few coins on you, would you? Said the man, his gaze pointing somewhat towards Hewin. Hewin began, but Sam interjected. He doesn't, my good man, and do you know why? Because we got robbed, right under your drunken nose. Oh, was all the soldier said, then returned to his ale. Can't talk to these two. She does not look pleased. Hey, Dina, unless you have the money you owe me, Sam, you better walk right out. It's 1 civilian and not a lesson less. I'm gonna guess that's this gold. How about I give you the money I owe you, and on top of that, I tell you a little story about how we got it. You serious? Truth to tell, I didn't expect to ever see you again. Was it much trouble finding the gambler? Let's just say it got troublesome after we found him. He holed himself up in an old house down south outside the village, but apparently we weren't the only ones looking for him. Anyways, care to buy us? That should be us, not as. So there you go, Damjin. That should be an us. Care to buy us a round of ale, Dina. I'll be hard-pressed to finish the tale if I don't lubricate my tongue first. Alright, but this better be good. Hewin sat in amazement through the whole recount. There were no lies to Sam's word, but the way he told the tale made it feel like a completely different, much more heroic deed than the slaughter it actually was. Sam made sure to speak loud enough for all to hear and appreciate what he had to tell. If there was anything dull to the account, he found a way to make it exciting, and when the story hit the high points, he elevated it to court-worthy poetry. When he finally was done, he drained his cup and slammed it on the table, making the patrons who followed the tale jump in their seats. Dina sat speechless, her lips parted in awe. Okay, so Sam's not really a rogue, he's a bard. Got it. Because he can sing, he can tell a tale, and he stabs a bitch. He's a bard. I find it hard to believe that you two did what you did, but I'd be glad to listen to that tale again. Smile, if you're happy. You look so mad. Some other time, dear. Me and Hugh have urgent business to attend to with his cousins. I promise you I'll have more adventures to share next time I pass through these lovely parts. Put that charm on, Sam. Thanks for the Eldina. Hugh, he's just like, I have no idea what this dude's on about. Think nothing of it, Hugh, and Sam, do come by again, alright? I promised, didn't I? I can do food, rooms, and goodbye. Could use a room. How much are rooms? Let's look at food. We could use some food or something to drink. Of course, let me show you what I have. Okay, so I can sell. Shopkeeper shook his head. Okay. So they are doing shops will only buy if it makes sense for them to buy. So she won't buy that. She'd buy my rations, but I don't want to sell my rations. 6 silver for these? For 20. 1 silver, 5. Okay. One thing I would like to see, by the way, Damjen, is if I buy rations, I can split them. So think about that one, too. Dina, do you have rooms for us? No, I'm sorry, I don't. A party of merchants stopped here and they took them all. You may want to sleep here in the commons, though. I won't charge you anything this one time. See you around, Dina. Alright, safe travels. Can I? No, I cannot. Ah, it's 24 of Evelsign, August. Yeah, okay. Alright, and I've got 1 civilian, 3 Austrian, 1 Leshen. Okay. So now it's to the Manor House. That's where they've been directing me. As you can see, there is no real quest log. This game is old school in that regard, in that it wants you to remember where you're going. Can I click? No. Crosshairs. If you're noticing, if you look here, my crosshair is kind of orange, and if I move it, it turns red. That means I can click. So that's how you can tell if something's interactable, I noticed. Just look around, make sure there's nothing I can clickety-click. Alright, let's go into the Manor House. So this is where the generously full cellar is. Yeah, too bad we don't have time to see it since you were in such a hurry to leave town. You can't just leave town on an empty stomach, and as I've heard, noble courtesy dictates to treat your guests well. This guy, Arthur. I knew I wasn't just hearing things. Father said it was the dog barking, but I recognize a rascal when I hear one. You're offending me, my lord. It's good to see you again, cousin. You won't believe what happened last night at the inn. Did you find the gambler? You know about the gambler? It's a small town. News travels fast. Also, Dina's been asking if I'd seen you two. Although she won't admit it, she's been feeling a little guilty for chasing you out in the middle of the night. Oh, is that so? Just don't go telling her I told you. You know how she is. Noble or not, she'll have my head on a spit if she learns I've opened my mouth. Don't worry, we never heard anything from you. I can't vouch for him, but I'll keep quiet. Anyway, we did find the man. He lies dead in an old isolated house south of the temple. You killed him? No, but we killed those who did. The 2 bandits who scared the gambler ambushed us. I'm sure one of the gods must have been looking after us, or we'd be dead in their stead. Is that so? Well, I'm glad to see you two alive and well, so are you telling me that I've got 3 bodies to bury now? Well, next time we plan on leaving bodies on our way, we bring shovels. I'm sure you will. Come, you can give me the details over a cup of wine. After that, Hewitt, I'm sure you'd be interested to see that book. They spent a good hour going over the details of the recent events, Hewitt explaining and Sam filling in colorful and mostly unnecessary details. When they were done, Arthur suggested they leave Sam to enjoy the wine while he and Hewitt would go into the study to see the book the young mage was so eager to examine. While Arthur leaned on the fireplace sipping wine, Hewitt dug into the complex passages of the tome. He spent well over another hour going through the difficult language, but when he finally put the book, said, "Do you know what this is?" All I know is it's written in an old language that I've never studied. All books on magic are written in Irani, so only those who've been learning magic can understand it and not hurt themselves in the process. Go on. The title is Accounts from Samaris and Beyond. As far as I'm aware, there's only one such copy in existence, and that one resides in the Antarra University. So it's a rare book, said Arthur, taking another sip. He enclosed the large leather-bound volume. Not just rare, it's forbidden. And that seems to be the end of the demo. Finding out about a forbidden book in your cousin's thing. Alright. So, yeah, I want to play more of this. And I'm kind of upset now that it doesn't exist. It was just getting interesting. So, as far as the demo goes, it was a pretty good showing of basically the pace of the game, the combat, the world. Gave you a lot of good information about the world, which intrigues me. And it ends on just the perfect cliffhanger. Bravo, Damjin, for such a good demo. Now, for those of you who want to play this demo yourself, it is not public, but you can get access to it. In the description box for this video, I'm going to have a link to the Call of Saregnar Patreon. If you pledge there, I want to say it's at the $3 level, you get access to this demo so you can experience it yourself. You can kind of wander around, look at it, mess around with it, etc. You would also support the development of this game from the one guy who's doing it. As you saw, he uses digitized actors, so he's having to get people to dress up in costumes to pose, to digitize for the NPCs and things and the characters and animate them. This is a very old school way of doing it. So there you go. I'm very impressed with this. I really like this, and I absolutely am looking forward to the full version. There's a good chance that once I get a hold of the full version, however long that takes, probably another year or so, I will be doing a playthrough of it on this YouTube channel. So there you go. But as always, thank you, Damjin, for giving me access to the demo. Thank you, everybody who watched this. If you like what I'm doing, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment. You know the drill. It all helps. And hey, stay nerdy, everybody. Treat each other kindly. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Hey there, I just want to say thank you for watching this video, and a special thank you to all my patrons who are listed over there on the right hand of the screen. If you want to get your name in those credits, feel free to check it out at patreon.com/terminallynerdy. And hey, be kind to each other and stay nerdy. Thanks.